So I've been really not excited about doing a video after this last 2 weeks. The day after Valentine's Day, we found out that my wife has miscarried, and it's been a journey. When we went up to Kaiser to have the sonogram done and everything done, they wouldn't allow me to be with Elise as so she had to go in alone. The entire time she was alone. Doctor came in, the sonogram technician came in and did some sonogram stuff, and then they just left her in a room. And while she was left in the room, she received an email, and the email said that the sonogram was absent a heartbeat. And so we have miscarried, and we went home, and we had to give birth to a stillborn, I believe is the term, baby in our own home. They did not do a DNC. It was tough. It was a tough bunch of days, and it's still tough. We're going through postpartum depression. Evie is still full of energy and gets up quite early and isn't napping like she should, and she can really, I guess she's picking up on the fact that Elise is down for the count, because she's really just going and going and going, and it's not her fault. She's great. She's a reminder of how awesome things are, but it's hard to do this while it's going on, while this is in the background of everything we're doing. We're learning a lot. It's like we're in this really terrible club with a lot of other people. Two of my three brothers, my mother, they're all in this miscarriage club. We named the baby James Arthur. I took the body. We're having it cremated. We're going to have remains. We're not sure what we're going to do with the remains, but we keep talking about it. Maybe we're going to be buried with him. Maybe we are going to spread his ashes. There's not much to it. The baby was very small. Big enough to tell some things, but we had to tell a lot of people we wanted to involve in this whole thing. We wanted them close. We wanted everyone to feel part of this pregnancy. We wanted to bring this child, to bring the family together, and it was tough to call around and tell everybody. It was sad. And a lot of people have our back. Our churches brought us food, and done the church thing, which has been awesome. But it's just hard. It's hard to tell people that. It's hard to think about the not the repercussions, but it's hard to think about what it means. When Elise told me she was pregnant, she kind of yelled it at me in the hallway because she was mad at me over something dumb, nothing horrible. And our family went from 3 in our house, having Callie, Evie, and this little baby. It just went, it became so serious so quick. My family grew, and then finding out the baby is gone was kind of like going back to 2 or 4, however you want to look at it. And I didn't get to tell Callie, which I'm kind of glad I didn't tell Callie, because that would have been a difficult conversation to have with someone at turning 4 years old. Yeah. But I got to connect with some people who I never thought I would over this. And I've got to learn a lot about the way God works in suffering and sanctification during suffering. And I know it sucks, and I miss I don't even know what I miss. I just miss it. And it sucks, but I trust God. I know I haven't lost the baby. I know where it is. I know that someday I will see him. I see every Christian that I respect, everyone living the life, everyone seeking God's face goes through suffering. Every single one. While this was going on, the same day that we found out another young lady had a miscarriage, and she was struggling with it, we got to speak to her. Vodi Bacham, who is a pastor I really like. I hope that you guys get to hear him. His heart failed, and he's been flying back from Africa to go to the Mayo Clinic, I believe it was. But he raised $1.3 million in 6 days. And Tim Keller with his stomach cancer. And I look at these people. Jeff Keeney, one of the best pastors, and his infertility, and just, it's everywhere. Suffering is not gonna happen. God isn't a get out of suffering card. He's I will be there with you in the suffering, and he's been there. His yoke is light, and it's comforting to have him. We don't know everything. We're not done. This isn't done. My wife is going through some extreme postpartum depression, and it's kind of bled over into my work. Just trying to feel like I need help, but I can't. I don't know how to I don't know what I need help with. I don't know what's gonna happen. I know who knows what's gonna happen. I know that God has something great. My mom said that we were going to be pregnant in 3 months. I don't think we will. We'll see. Maybe one day we'll look back at this and kind of be like, oh, it had to be that way, which is the way a lot of people have said, because I wouldn't be here if my mom didn't have a miscarriage, which is interesting enough, but I think that diminishes the pain, to put it that way. But one of the interesting things was my mom came out of her shell and talked to Elise in a way that I don't think she ever got to grieve like that. And so it was healthy for her. I feel really bad for my wife. It's a tough place to be. I know that some people look at miscarriages and they go, oh, 20% statistic, which that's huge. No idea that was a thing. But it's terrible. It's really terrible. And I think it's more terrible when you want a child. You sit there and you want this kid, and a lot of people kind of see it as a get out of jail free. I don't know. Maybe they do. I can't speak for anyone, and I'm learning that if I put myself in the place of others, I'm not the wisest of people. I don't know. But the point is, it's painful. And if you go through it, or someone goes through it, what's comforting is just letting them know that it's okay to feel bad, even if you never met the person that this child would have been. And that sometimes it manifests really weird because they never saw it. They never saw the baby. And not seeing the baby makes it, like, how do you even attach the feeling to something? I think that's part of the toughest part of it. I have such a little family. I have my baby Callie. I have my baby Evie. That's it. It's tiny family. Elise, of course, but I really miss Callie, having her here. But yeah, I'll do another video on that here in a minute. I wanted this one to be its own. I told Elise, and I told her that I didn't think this was what God had for us. When she thought she was having some issues, and we started this trip, it just kind of goes to show you that you never know what God's doing, because we are just people. I don't know what I would tell myself being on this end, talking to myself on the other end. I don't know what I would say to me, but I would tell myself that it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. Love the people around you. That means checking on the people around you. And just because things are going well doesn't mean that there's not some pain that they're going through that needs to be, worked out. And I think the working out of pain and trauma and processing things is so much more complex than I thought it was. So hopefully I'll be able to work with myself and with my wife, and we'll be able to do that. Anyways, I'm going to do another video here on just the updates, but I love you, whoever you are watching. And I'm praying for you that the thing I'm going through and the thing my wife is going through, that it can be a testimony to Jesus Christ and his love, and that when you go through hurts and you go through problems, that sometimes it's not for you, it's for the people around you to see you shake off. As Paul was bitten by the snake on the shipwreck island, they're like, he's going to die. God hates him so much that he survives a shipwreck and gets bit by a snake to die. And Paul just shakes it off. And the truth is, when you are following God, and even when you're not following God, the serpent is going to strike. And sometimes it's that moment when people are looking at you, when things are just like the absolute worst. That is when you need to show and to really hold fast to the love of Jesus, and to trust in God and his promises. I haven't lost anything. Thanks for listening. I hope this covers everything. Probably doesn't, but I'm sure this is something I'll talk about again.